This is Tulu on Bleeding Edge Youth, and I'm here to talk to you today about the topic worrying. Yeah, I know that's a peculiar topic, right? But it's something I've been thinking about, and I think it's pretty important. Now, this is also something that I'm doing especially for our young adults. And it's for our young adults because I believe that that's the age that right at that time there's a lot of pressure on them. What do I mean by pressure? The older generation are looking at you like, yeah, you should take on more responsibilities, you should be accountable for certain things. Your parents are looking at you the same way. The younger generation, they're looking at you as their heroes, their role models. And so I know it can be a bit of a pressure. And aside from that, worrying, I know, it's not peculiar to an age group, it's not a gender thing, it's not a status thing. It cuts across everyone. But I believe that that age already has an enormous amount of weight, that they're carrying around already. For you have your life, you're thinking about your career, you're thinking about maybe you have a small business that you just started, you're thinking about maybe you're just even starting a family, or even it might be a relationship, you're just getting into one, or you're trying to manage one, take it to the next level, or more serious things like past and present, how to get from here to there. Either way, I know that that young adult age group, there's a lot of package that we go around with. Now, I told you, if you read what I put on Facebook just before I did this recording, that it's not exactly what you think. I want us to talk about this, what are the impacts of it? How can we help ourselves? But I'm also here to correct a few things in our minds. But first, let's get into this. I have a few warnings to issue with the issue of worrying. Worrying never solves the problems. Isn't that unfortunate? Worrying is just, here is a problem, here is an issue, here's a challenge. Here's an issue, here's a challenge, here's a problem. You're just running round and round in circles. Not necessarily, here's a problem, here's a solution, let's continue with life. So, what's the point? When you're worried, did you know it could affect your health? It definitely occupies your mind. You're not able to think straight. It affects your relationships. You'll be surprised. Even your behavior can be affected when you're worried because you're constantly carrying this weight around. Now, having said that, I know it could be big things like, I'm going to go a little deep. Maybe you're pregnant. Maybe it was planned. Yeah, you could be young and married, but then it might still be a big deal. Maybe it wasn't planned. That's even worse. And you're wondering what's going to happen. Okay, maybe it's just your career you're trying to take to the next level. Oh, maybe it's finances. Maybe it's a job situation. Or maybe it's something as big as you've done something stupid in the past. You suddenly found yourself facing very, very bad consequences. Now you're coming out and you're thinking, okay, now you've marred yourself. How are you going to get on with life? So I know it could be a lot of things. It could be a lot of reasons that you're worried. But here are a few suggestions that I have for you in taking care of that. I still have a few more things to say, but this is what I think might help. Now, I'm not here to say it's a one size fits all in the solutions. No, because all these things, they're peculiar to the person. And let me also say this. I am not here to say one issue is bigger than the other. It's as big as it is to you. I know that. But let's get something straight. Worrying for a day, for a month, for a year ain't gonna change anything until you sit and talk about a solution. So, here are a few suggestions that I have. I believe the first thing is to identify what the problem is. Of course, for you to be worried about something, there is an issue you're worried about. Grab a pen and a paper, write down what the problem is. Uh, I started a business, I was all enthusiastic about it. Now I feel stuck, write it down. Why are you stuck? No money, write it down. Oh, it's just my career, write it down. It's that job I'm trying to get, write it down. It's I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do with it. Write it down. The next thing, point number two, what's the worst case scenario with this issue? Write it down. Whatever you think the worst case scenario, if the problem doesn't get solved, is going to be, write it down. Third thing is, can you live with it if the situation doesn't change? Or if what you're afraid of that is going to happen, if it happens, can you live? Can you cope with it? Write it down. The fourth thing would then be, what are the possible ways out? What are the possible solutions to it? 1, 2, 4 options. Write them down. The next thing will be for you to look at the different solutions that you've written down and kind of reorganize them. Which one do you think makes the most sense? For every single one of them, what would be the best case, the worst case outcome of these solutions? Reorganize them. This helps you to determine what the best solution is. Now, it doesn't mean you can execute the solution all by yourself. No. Different situations call for different resolutions. You might need to engage someone else. You might even need to get a professional help. You might need to talk to someone. But right now, you know what you need. And then the next thing is to step out in the direction of what you think the best case scenario is, or rather the best solution is. Now, there's one more thing I want to tell you, and this is about your mind. You cannot get anything done if your mind is filled with trouble. Yes, the problem is there, like I said earlier on, and it's not going to go away just by thinking and thinking and thinking about it. Try to make yourself happy. Try to replace thinking about the problem with something else. And I'm not saying that is easy to do. What I personally tend to do when I feel like I'm under pressure, a lot of pressure, I watch a comedy. Try to make yourself laugh. Try to get yourself away from thinking about it. You can even get busy with work or project. Talk to a friend. Call up a friend and try to talk to the friend from there and try to get yourself to doing things. Now, having said all that, I hope it helps. But I want to challenge you, especially at this time of the year. I don't believe it's a good way of life if you don't get yourself prepared for the future. I'm not a big believer in New Year's resolution, but I'm a big believer in planning for the future. I don't know how big the thing is that you're worried about. I don't know how long you've been carrying it around. I don't know if it's the consequence of something in the past that took years to catch up with you. But the thing is, I want to challenge you that life doesn't end there. If you think it was because of something you've done wrong, now you know. Make it right. If it's something that was just out of your control, now you know still. Dare to face the challenge. Dare to overcome the challenge. For me, and I think it's a good place to be, when you see a situation, a challenge as a problem, it remains a problem. Life happens all the time, and this is something I want to tell you, young adults. Never see your situations and your challenges as problems all the time. Stuff happens. You're not going to be the first, you're never going to be the last. Nothing is new under the sun. It can be big, it can be challenging, but when you dare to see it as life, you keep moving, you will overcome it. I told you in the beginning of Bleeding Edge Youth that I'm also a Christian. For me, my faith is something that grounds me. I always go back to God to talk to Him about it. I hope you can do the same. I'm here to challenge you to do that too. But ultimately, see life as life. That keeps you away from brooding and thinking it just had to be me. It's just me against the whole world. No, it's not. Life is what happens to us all. Now, I also want to say this. I'm here to help. I know not everything is what we can just wave our hands and say it goes away. Sometimes, even after coming up with a solution, you need someone. I am not claiming to be your doctor or your psychiatrist or whatever, or even your counselor, but I can help you navigate the waters if you do need such help. So, message me on Facebook. It's private. Leave me your email, your phone number, whatever works for you, and I will contact you. I am here to help. I am passionate about the help I can render to you. So you can email me on bleedingedgeyouth@gmail.com. Subscribe to Bleeding Edge Youth channel on YouTube so you get an auto reminder when there's something on there. Now, Facebook is there. It's for us to be able to converse with each other. If you have questions that you want to ask, you have comments, you even want me to talk about something, you can reach me on Facebook. Well, I want to say compliments of the season to everybody. And I want to also remind you that you are a bleeding edge youth. And so I want you to walk with your head held high and know that you have a great future.